In the quiet moments of life when the world around us slows down, we often find ourselves face to face with the deepest questions of our existence. Who am I? Why do I feel this way? Why do I keep encountering the same problems? These questions emerge from the depths of our being, from a place beyond our daily thoughts. Our minds immediately try to analyze, searching through our past, looking for causes and explanations. But are these answers enough to truly satisfy our hearts? Are we merely a collection of thoughts and accumulated emotions? Or is there something deeper that transcends logic and explanation? This is where we discover the profound difference between psychological awareness and spiritual awareness, between understanding the self and transcending it. Psychological awareness is like a doorway that allows us to understand ourselves from within. It's that inner voice asking, why do I feel this way? Where does this emotion come from? Why do I keep making the same mistakes? When we develop psychological awareness, we begin to understand our emotions without running from them. Instead of suppression, we ask, what message is this feeling trying to convey? We analyze our beliefs and the mindsets we've been raised with, questioning whether they serve us well or hold us back. As the ancient Greek aphorism inscribed at the Temple of Apollo reminds us, know thyself. Psychological awareness gives us the power to recognize our behavioral patterns, why we fear failure, why we repeat certain mistakes, why we react in predictable ways to certain triggers. Consider the story of a man who always felt anxious in social gatherings. Through psychological awareness, he traced this fear back to childhood experiences of being ridiculed when speaking up. Understanding this connection didn't immediately remove his anxiety, but it gave him context and a starting point for healing. But psychological awareness alone has its limitations. Even when we understand our wounds completely, something still feels missing. This is because psychological awareness remains confined within the framework of mind and analysis. This is where spiritual awareness enters, the transcendence of self and openness to absolute truth. Spiritual awareness is recognizing that you are not merely your mind, not merely your body, not merely your emotions, but something far deeper. There exists something greater than the small self that tries to understand everything through mental analysis. Spiritual awareness means realizing that life isn't just a series of psychological experiences, but has dimensions that extend beyond human logic. There are things we simply cannot explain. As Rumi beautifully expressed, what you seek is seeking you. When you begin to awaken spiritually, you understand that the identity you've been attached to is merely a construct, not an ultimate reality. Your name, nationality, personal thoughts, these are accumulated experiences, not your true essence. The elements of spiritual awareness are profound. You begin to surrender rather than control. While the psychological mind always wants to understand, analyze, and control events, spiritual awareness recognizes that life operates with its own intelligence, requiring no intervention from you. You learn to trust, accept, and live in the moment without resistance. The resistance fades as you understand the universal laws governing the cosmos. You begin to comprehend how energy works, how your intentions create reality, and how the universe repeats the same lessons until you understand them. A woman once shared her experience of losing everything she owned in a fire. Through psychological awareness, she processed her grief and trauma. But through spiritual awareness, she came to see how this apparent disaster freed her from attachments she hadn't realized were weighing her down. "I lost everything," she said, "and in that loss, I found myself." In psychological awareness, you try to understand your fears. In spiritual awareness, you recognize that fear is merely an illusion, not part of your absolute truth. You live from a perspective that understands that everything is temporary and that you are deeper than the events you experience. You develop a profound connection with the Source, with God, the universe, or whatever name resonates with you. Even those without religious faith might call it energy, source, or cosmic consciousness. The terminology matters less than the experience. You begin to feel you're not alone in this world, that you're part of something greater. Let's compare these two forms of awareness side by side. Psychological awareness focuses on the individual and their personality. Spiritual awareness focuses on transcending the self and uniting with existence. Psychological awareness relies on analysis and explanation. Spiritual awareness depends on intuition and direct experience. Psychological awareness searches for causes in past experiences. Spiritual awareness lives in the present moment and accepts everything as it is. Psychological awareness tries to heal wounds and traumas. Spiritual awareness recognizes these wounds as part of the journey, requiring no resistance. Psychological awareness is built on thinking. Spiritual awareness is built on deep feeling and direct experience. Psychological awareness fears the unknown and tries to understand it. Spiritual awareness accepts the unknown and sees in it an opportunity for growth. Can we bring these two worlds together? The balanced human being possesses deep psychological awareness but doesn't limit themselves to this level. They remain open to other dimensions. Psychological awareness helps you understand yourself. Spiritual awareness helps you transcend yourself. This balance allows you to live with freedom, without constraints, without fear, because you understand that life is deeper than analysis, deeper than experiences, deeper even than the mind itself. In psychological awareness, you understand your story. In spiritual awareness, you discover you're merely a character in a much larger story than you could ever imagine. Every attempt to understand life will bring us to the same question. Is awareness understanding, or is it freedom from the need to understand? The psyche always wants to understand, analyze, and give meaning. But the spirit knows that true meaning was never found in words. It exists in experience. Psychological awareness teaches you who you are through your past, your traumas, your emotions. But spiritual awareness dissolves these conceptions. and helps you recognize the present moment. As no past binds you and no future frightens you. The psyche lives between pain and pleasure, but the spirit knows that everything passes and that true peace was never attached to external things. Perhaps here lies a secret. You don't have to choose between these two paths because, in essence, you are everything and nothing simultaneously. You are a human being with memories, fears, desires. But your spirit is free, witnessing all of this without constraints. Now you have a choice. Remain imprisoned by definitions, or venture forth and live a life without questions or answers, simply with a pure, light presence in your heart. The journey between mind and soul isn't about reaching a destination. It's about embracing both our humanity and our divinity, understanding our stories while recognizing we are more than any story could contain. In this balance we find not just awareness but wisdom,